Namaste, I'm Prajuna from Nepal. I'm the country director for iDE. iDE has been in Nepal for 30 years, and our tagline is powering entrepreneurs to end poverty. We believe that each individual has the power to uplift themselves if given the proper ecosystem and strengthened market. So, in the last 30 years, we've been listening to our farmers, our smallholder farmers, creating ecosystems from them. And when we talk about climate smart approaches, when we listen to farmers, their approaches are usually climate smart. It's the conventional agriculture that we've pushed them into, the market systems that were developed beyond their control that has pushed them into conventional agriculture. So when we listen to them, we are creating resilient and climate smart agriculture. And iDE is working on agriculture, WASH with cross-cutting nutrition and Jesse work as well, which I will deep dive into in our next conversations.
Prajuna, I think it would be good if actually I wanted to go around again, but each of you comes from a different context and a different country. So maybe you can go a bit into the situation in Nepal. Perhaps it's not drought, something else, but what's the context in which the communities that you're working with?
Sure, thank you. I was actually thinking along the lines of innovation, and I'll tell you how it ties up. In Nepal, you see a lot of out-migration now, and why that's happening is farming is not as profitable at this point. So all of you who are in Dubai, I'm sure if you look around in your hotel rooms, in the lobby, in the security guard, you'll see a lot of Nepalese people here. So what's that leaving us with a lot of females having to now bear on triple burden of taking care of the home, taking care of the children, and the land. So that's the reality of Nepal, with barren lands, of course, because a lot of people have migrated out for better job opportunities. So one of the problems is we are not making farming as profitable. So the innovation needs to happen at our end is how do we make it profitable? If they are doing not conventional farming, but the climate smart, resilient farming, how are we going to make it more profitable for them? So in the innovation angle, what I was thinking was the communities that we work with, they already know what the gap is. They know what they want. What they don't know is in what innovative way they want it. And I can illustrate in an example. So one of the major crises that we have in farming is a lack of fertilizer, or not lack of, but we need around 700,000 tons of fertilizer, and we are only able to import around 300,000 a year. And that leaves us with a 400,000 ton of deficiency of fertilizer. So when we were talking to the farmers around Nepal, so how do we innovate? How do we help them create fertilizers at their own home? So what do they have at their home? Like Professor was mentioning, they have the farmyard manure that they've been using for many, many years. So how do we innovate so we make this more profitable for them to use? So what we did was, going back to nature, we had tested this trichoderma fungus, and then we inoculated with our vermicompost. And we started experimenting over 3 harvest seasons, and we saw 15% yield increase. And we actually saw that it increases the soil health, the carbon sequestration as well. So innovation might come from networks like ours that are constantly learning what's important, what are the new things that we can introduce to the communities. So that innovation helped farmers not only to have fertilizers for their own use, but we are also working with cooperatives to help them manufacture it at their level and standardize it. Go to government labs, get it tested, so there's a certain standardization. So if they're able to produce more, not only can they use it at their own homes, but also sell it for a profit. We got to start looking at farmers not as beneficiaries. They are clients. They are business people. If there's no profit for them, they're not going to do it. So at iDE, that's what we do. That's what we look at differently. We really put farmers at the center. We believe in human-centered design, and we've listened to them. And all our innovations have come through just listening to them, understanding what's their requirement, and innovating to their needs.
So, Prajuna, I want to turn to you, as country director. I'm assuming you're working a lot with the Nepalese government. What is the challenge that you face? Are there differences in views? Are they aligned with you in terms of what you're trying to do and working with local communities? And maybe give us some insight on the conversations that you're having.
There's a lot of alignment, and I think that's good because necessity is the mother of invention or innovation for us. And I think we're all there. We know what's happening. When you're traveling to rural parts of Nepal, you might not see them eating nutritious food, but you'll see them eating these instant noodles. You'll see them eating these instant wafers and chips. And I was actually mentioning that in the previous discussion as well. And that's where we are at in terms of talking about nutrition. So, what's food security? Them having instant noodles or them having nutritious food, which is actually available on the ground. So, the conversations at the government level, they are very positive in the sense we all are looking at the same thing. And we had just had a session where the government delegates were also involved. And they said the same thing that Nico did. We don't have a blueprint right now. We need to be agile. We really need to contextualize, localize what we are doing. And what I love about our tagline is we say we help communities define their own prosperity. We can't define prosperity for them. When we are talking about women's empowerment, the word that's often used, who is defining empowerment for them? Them having these three burdens and then also having a business, does that empower them? Or them saying, it's enough. I'm happy just being a farmer and making subsistence farming. Who are we to define what empowerment means for another individual? So that agility and that willingness to let them define their own prosperity is, in our conversation, I think government is also open to at least having us contextualize and localize a lot of these blueprints that we are looking to taking forward. As we go on to define regenerative agriculture or smart agriculture and define matrices that help us know what they are, I think at this point there's 158 measures of regenerative agriculture, and it's probably growing. But as we go home and as we continue to do our work that we do, to remain agile in terms of listening to the people that we are working with, agility in how we are doing our interventions, agility in how we are talking to the government, making sure that the systems are agile to adapt to the changes that's happening. So that's the message I want to give as you move on. Keep the agility with you when you listen to the communities. Keep the agility in the programs that you're running. And the supporters, the partners that are out there to be agile as they're supporting us in this journey.